Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike Ortiz. I'm the manager here at Noble Defender. Today what we're going to be covering is how to break down, maintain, and clean your firearm. Otis sent out this awesome Otis Elite Kit. It has a bunch of tools to maintain your firearm. They sent us out this kit along with these gun wipes and hand wipes to test out this product. We're not being paid by Otis, but they sent this out for us to test. So what we're going to do today is we're going to break down a Glock 19. We're going to do simple maintenance on it and we're going to clean it. But before we do any of that, we always want to make sure that the gun is clear and safe. So in order to do that, we're going to take the gun, we're going to point in a safe direction, which is to my left. We're going to make sure there's no magazine, there's nothing in there. We're going to lock the slide to the rear. We're going to look inside the chamber, and we're also going to visually and physically inspect the chamber to make sure that we didn't miss anything. Once we know that, then we could properly take down the gun. Okay, so now that we know that the gun is safe and clear, what we could do is proceed to break it down. So what we're going to do is close the slide. Now, what I like to do is get a C grip around the Glock, and I pull the slide back and I pull down on the slide lock lever. What I do after that is I let the slide go, I pull the trigger, and then the slide comes off from the frame. I'll roll it over. I'll make sure I put my hand over the spring to capture that to make sure it doesn't go flying. I'll take that out, and then the next thing that comes out is a barrel. We'll lay that down, and then all we have is an empty slide. Now we have the frame exposed so we could see everything inside the frame housing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get into our Otis Elite Cleaning Kit. This kit's pretty awesome. It has just about everything you need to clean your firearm. Comes with patches, has a multitude of different caliber brushes, has some cleaning rods, and also it comes with their CLP. This kit not only cleans handguns, but it has the ability to clean rifles and shotguns. Has an excellent cleaning rod, bore brushes, clean lube protectant, and patches. So for us today, what we're going to be using, something simple, toothbrush. Can't get away from those toothbrushes, where you use their pull-through rod and their pull-through handle. This is pretty good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grab the pull-through cleaning rod. The textured side of the handle goes down, slide rod goes through, and this is how you pull it through. So for us today, it's a Glock 19, so we're going to be using a 9mm brush. Now, there are many other manufacturers that make cleaning products for handguns, rifles, and shotguns. We're using Otis today. Once again, we're not being sponsored by them, but they send us out this very cool kit to test out, see how it works. So all you do is you screw in the brush through here. We're going to go ahead and start with the barrel. The way we like to do it is we're going to have the brush at the back end of the barrel. We pull that through, brush comes right here. We'll put the cleaning handle on and we'll just basically pull through. And we'll do this a couple times to make sure that we get all the big carbon loosened up. As a general rule, we're always going to pull through the chamber to the end of the muzzle. And the philosophy behind this is that we don't want to ever damage the muzzle. So we do this a couple times and that'll break everything up. Once we punch the bore, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of oil to our brush. It doesn't take very much. Maybe a drop. And what we're going to do is brush around the bore. This is going to clean the outside and make sure bore chamber. And all we're trying to do is get the big carbon off. You can kind of see it's stuck right here. So what I'm trying to do is just brush that off as best as I possibly can. And it may take a little bit to get it off, but eventually it does. So the oil that we're using right now is called CLP. It's an FP10 product that Otis is using. You could use any CLP. My advice though is once you start using one specific product brand oil to stay with that. Try not to mix and match that. If you do clean your weapon, use a specific oil. If you want to use something else, you clean your weapon again, use that oil. Sometimes with different products, you could create some problems with gunk building up. The oil could get very thick and cause you issues later on. But this is CLP, it's pretty much standard in the industry. So after you're done cleaning the barrel, what we want to do is run a patch through it. So Otis provided these patches. It comes with the kit. So we're going to basically grab a few patches. We're going to grab their other pull-through rod. We're going to punch through one of the pre-cut holes that they have on here. And then we're going to fold this in to the rod. And it's basically going to end up something like that. So we could put a dab of oil on this, not too much. Again, going from the chamber side, pull through, grab your handle, place it on, and it comes right through. And you can see it's already pulling dirt out. So we could do that a couple times until we get it as clean as we feel it has to be. So we're going to pull through, and you can keep on using several patches until you get it as clean as you would like. Is it ever too clean? I don't think so, but we want to make sure that we properly lube it after we do that. Moving on to the slide, we're going to take a look at the slide. Anytime you clean your gun, your firearm, you should always inspect it. Always inspect it for wear. Normal wear it's going to happen with use of the firearm. But we're just looking for anything that's big, gross, outside of what we think would be normal wear. If we don't see anything, again, we're going to use our toothbrush, and we're just trying to break down the big carbon that gets lodged inside the firearm. What I like to do sometimes just rest your slide on the table like this and go across and just give it a good general brushing wherever you like it. Outside, just basically needs to be wiped down with a good cleaning cloth. Once we do that, take a inspect again, make sure there's nothing really big, and that's about it for the slide. Moving on to the frame. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a look at it, we're going to inspect it, we're looking for anything that's abnormal wear, anything that might be broke or looks out of place. So we don't see anything as a general rule. We're just going to take a quick look at it. And then from there, we're going to do the same thing with the toothbrush. You can rest it on the table, get the toothbrush, and start breaking up the carbon fouling that gets deposited along with the copper or lead or whatever other type of ammunition that you're shooting. And so we're just trying to get in here and brush it out to the best of our ability. We're just looking for to make sure that the slide rails are nice and clean. The locking block is clean. The trigger mechanism doesn't have any dirt or debris inside it. And that's basically what the toothbrush is for. You just get in there with the bristles. You don't want to use something very harsh like a steel brush in here. You might damage some of the springs, but nylon toothbrush generally is a good tool to use. Really can't hurt anything on the firearm using a toothbrush with nylon bristles. Once we have that all clean, then we're going to lube it. So how do we lube this? So as a general rule, we're not going to put very much oil on here. Basically a drop. We're going to put a drop in each rail here. Then where this surface actually rubs on the inside of the slide, you can see slide wear right here. We also want to put a drop of oil inside there. We'll put one more in the front part of the rail, here and here. And then for right here, what we're going to do is we're going to put a drop right here. Here is basically where when you pull the trigger, it pushes up the safety and it lets the striker go forward. So we're just going to put a small drop of oil right here. And then if you think it's too much, you could always dab it off a bit. We'll put some on the rails, locking block, and the front rails right here. Once you do that, as long as the magazine wall is clean and doesn't have any debris in it. Now that we're done lubricating the barrel, the slide rails, some of the internals of the frame, what we're going to do is we're going to give the outside a wipe down. So we're going to grab one of Otis's firearm wipes, and we're just going to give the area wipe down. It's like you normally would, just like you're cleaning anything else with the wet wipe. This is a wet wipe for guns. We don't want the outside of the firearm oily at all. We just want a good preservative on the steel, on the slide. But for the firearm, the grip, we want to have this as clean and dry as we possibly can because we want to have maximum grip retention. If you're putting oil on the outside, it gets very greasy, very oily. It's going to be hard to maintain this firearm. Not to mention, it's going to pick up all the dirt wherever you're going to, and it's going to make it dirtier. Okay, so once we got everything cleaned and oiled, what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to reassemble the gun. So we have the firearm reassembled again. So keep it pointed in a safe direction. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to lock the slide to the rear, and we're going to make sure it actually stays the rear, and it does. After that, we're going to put back on the slide, let it go home. We're going to pull the trigger, make sure the gun's in a safe direction. Striker drops. Holding the trigger to the rear, we're going to pull the slide back, and we're going to let it go again. We're going to let the trigger go forward. We hear that trigger reset. We're going to squeeze again. So now we know there's a function check. If you want to see if the safety was working inside the trigger, all we have to do is grab the trigger by the outside, making sure not to hit the center of the trigger, and we're going to pull back. And if it doesn't drop the striker, then we know the safety mechanism is actually working properly. That is a function check. We always want to function check our firearm, make sure that we reassembled it correctly. That would conclude today's how to maintain and take care of your firearm. We'd like to say thank you again to Otis for letting us send out this awesome kit. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, whether it's good or bad, we did something wrong, or there's a question about it, please let us know in the comments below. Come see us here at Noble Defender. We'd love to have a chat with you. Have a nice day.